Welcome to the Game Week 18 video. So this week kicks off with Stoke and Man United on the Boxing Day fixture list. And well, look, Stoke lost 2-1 at home to Palace, and they were a bit shaky. I think with players coming back from injury and forth, and Shaqiri not really having a succession of games, I think that has to be one factor as to why I don't think Stoke have performed consistently throughout the season. But you have to give credit to Palace. You have a very good away record under Alan Pardew. So, but for Man United, obviously disappointing defeat for Norwich, and the pressure has mounted on Louis van Gaal in terms of people say he really can't afford to lose the next two games. I think this is a real tough game for Manchester United, and for them to get a result here will be really impressive because, okay, yeah, Chelsea are not a top team at the moment, but they've lost there. Man City have lost there convincingly, but I mean the players I recommend. Look, one player I would look at is Bojan, just because the fact that he has the penalty kick, he's valued quite little. And in terms of BPS, he is favoured. If he scores a goal, like we saw in the last game week, he's most likely to accumulate the bonus. Shaqiri as well, I think, is a player to look at. He's worth the risk, in my opinion, along with Arnautovic. And even Glenn Johnson. If there is a defender from Stoke I will look at, it's Glenn Johnson, because he's definitely involved in defensive play. For Manchester United, it's been rather a struggle, and it wouldn't surprise me to see Louis van Gaal really play with his first 11. Depay is someone that I like, along with, if Rooney plays in the middle, which looks like he will be, along with maybe Martial on the wing, I prefer Rooney, okay? And obviously you have Mata, but I think Man United might struggle in this game, in my opinion, and that's all I will say in terms of this fixture. So I will either go for a draw or a Stoke win. In terms of 3 o'clock kickoffs, we have Villa and West Ham, and a big point for Villa away to Newcastle. Obviously, they would have liked it had they got all 3 points, and they had the chances, to be honest. I think Jordan Ayew is the player I kind of mentioned before, but he really started to show some of his talent, and maybe his ball from towards Gested really should have been put back in the net. So, and there's no doubt Gested turned the game. If you watch that game, if you saw the highlights at least, I actually watched the game, but the minute Gested came in the second half, the game changed for Villa's favour indeed. So Jordan Ayew is the player I'll look at, and I do think he will have possibly the penalty kick just because he took the penalty kicks for Lorient. So he's someone to look at if you think he looks like the player at the moment that will get the goals for Villa, if I'm honest, and be involved in defensive play. Whether they will get enough goals and whether that warrants him to be in your fantasy team, that end of the day is a risk you have to take. In terms of West Ham, they've been very, very lackluster in terms of scoring goals, but very good defensively. So this wouldn't surprise me if this ended 0-0. But you just never know. I think with West Ham, I think they really need Payet back, and until they get Payet back, there's not really a player I recommend defensively or offensively. I mean, defensively, yeah. I mean, if you look at the last 3 games, you could look at anyone in the back four. And I think Winston Reid, despite his minor knock, they've been doing quite well. James Collins has deputised and done quite well in those games. And maybe he's a player to look at because, he got a good header away to Swansea as well. So maybe he's a person to look at, if you had to pick one out from the back four, considering how well West Ham have been doing in the last 3 games defensively. But this game, it wouldn't surprise me if it's a draw. But I actually think this game might surprise us. I think Villa might be able to get something here and more than draw. So that's the way I see it, but I'm not going to call it. In terms of the Bournemouth and Palace game, Bournemouth, great result again away to West Brom. Let's not underestimate, okay, yeah, West Brom were 10 men down due to McLean's, poor tackle, and Arsenal have lost there. Spurs have drawn there. So teams have dropped points there. And, I think with West Brom, it's a great result for Bournemouth, to be honest. And they deserve it. I think the manager deserves a lot of credit. In terms of the Palace, I mean, like I mentioned, beat Stoke, great result as well. And, with Kabaya gone, with injury, he looks like he probably might be back for this game week, or at least maybe the next fixture, maybe at least. But um, they definitely, coped well without him. In terms of player recommendations from both teams, um, look, just because Smith scored a goal defensively, he's not a player I recommend. I mean, at the end of the day, Bournemouth's offensive play, Stanislas is involved, but he looks like he's got a bit of a minor knock. And Richie was not far off scoring a header, so Richie's a player I'll look at. He scored. I think he was involved like 30, he was involved in 31 goals last year in the Championship, or maybe even more. So he has a big part to play for Bournemouth, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's more involved this season. For Palace, look, Balassi, Zaha, maybe Wickham, because that goal maybe has galvanised him. So he's a player to look at. I see this being a goal. I think there'll be goals in this game, and I think I'm gonna go for a score draw. So maybe something like 2-2 possibly, because I really think both teams will score. Both probably won't keep a clean sheet. With the Chelsea and Watford game, Chelsea, the first half against Sunderland, it brought back maybe some, memories in terms of how they performed last season. I think there were elements of luck. Cortez was definitely made to. He looked like he was to blame for the first two goals, which is why he got substituted. And Oscar had a good game. Look at his general play was very good. Pedro scored as well, and Ivanovic got the points. And like I mentioned, at 6.5 in a few videos before, but looking at him, this might be at the time to get him. So wouldn't surprise me if quite a few people have got him in, considering that Chelsea do have some okay fixtures remaining and up until the new year, and he's valued in at probably the lowest he will ever be in this game at the moment. So that's what I will mention in regards to Chelsea. Watford, great result against Liverpool. Does not surprise me. Igalo smashing the goals, Dini assisting, and okay, yeah, I think the first goal was a bit fortuitous. Actually, Bogdan did have both hands on the ball, but these things happen in the Premier League, and unfortunate for Liverpool, but very good for Watford. But I think overall, gameplay wise, I think Liverpool have no complaints. They were totally, outperformed by a very good Watford team. However, in this game, this will be tricky. I think this is a real game where Chelsea really will be tested because I think Sunderland didn't really approach that game correctly and a bit of unforced errors in the first few minutes, of that game. But Watford, considering the defensive record, this will be a very good fixture to watch, and this will find out if really Chelsea can really rise up the table. I think they drop any points here. I think it shows there is actually a fundamental issue with the team, and Gus Hiddink needs to do a lot of work in the background to really help Chelsea, you know, finish the season in a respectable position, which for me has to be at least top half. But who knows? It's been a tough Premier League for every team, and with probably one of the most open title races, and it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea did finish in the bottom 10 at the moment. So in terms of what I think the result, I think the result will probably go in Chelsea's favour, but I really don't want to call it because this season we've seen how bad Chelsea are. Liverpool Leicester should be a great game. Leicester played absolutely great against Everton when you consider they didn't actually play that great. I know how funny that sounds because Leicester weren't exactly playing their best in terms of how we know they can perform with the ball, but what they were very effective. When they had the ball, they played it right. And Mahrez deserves full marks. You know, a great ball to Vardy. That ball which behind Stones, one of the best balls of the season in my opinion. When you consider the pace of the ball, the accuracy to allow Vardy to not take an extra touch but rather focus on going around Howard. Perfect ball. And a great play by Okazaki as well. I thought Okazaki was really energetic. Liverpool on the other hand looks like Skirtle's got out with a knock, but Mignolet and Lovren look like they're back. Liverpool defenders, look, I still stick with the same defenders. Moreno's going to look at inclined, but I'd rather go for Moreno into the value. Liverpool midfielders, quite a few. I think, Firmino, Coutinho, there's quite a few, and I think obviously a player like Henderson, someone that I'll look at as well, just because he has a penalty kick for sure. I think if there's anyone right now, Liverpool that I'll look at, it's probably Henderson. With Leicester, I don't think there's any reason for me to go through this. I mean, if you want to know his performance for Leicester, just frankly go to the top scoring players in the game. You'll see who it is. I actually think this will be a tough game for Leicester. I think okay against Everton, but I think this if Leicester go on to win this game, then you really have to say okay, yeah, they're really outperforming. But I think I don't see Liverpool losing this game on the clock just because they've had a few bad results. So that's my prediction. Man City and Sunderland, I only see one result. I see Man City winning despite Man City's defeat against Arsenal, and they did come back and they had chances in the game. There's no doubt about it. And was it because Aguero wasn't fully fit? There's complaints that Bonny, was not happy at the fact that Pellegrini picked Aguero over him when he was clearly not didn't have the match fitness, whereas Boney had some form up to the game. I think there are a few issues in terms of the first 11. Is he favouring Delph, Sterling? Did he favour Delph because it was a bigger game and Delph probably can do a better job defensively? But I mean, the normal player recommendations are Silva. I think Aguero is coming back and he might be worth taking the risk. And Sunderland, you never know, he might just get 4 or 5 goals. But I'm someone that's quite tentative about that, just because there's no guarantee that a player will score 4 or 5 goals. And I think with Aguero, especially with his vulnerable state, possibly getting an injury, probably a reason as to why you should probably wait, see him actually perform for 90 minutes, and then get him in. So that's what I'll say in regards to him. Spurs and Norwich. Norwich great winning against Man United. I thought they were very good defensively as well. I think Martial got a bit lucky with the goal, but overall Norwich for me deserved the 3 points. And Spurs, great result against Southampton, who've been struggling. And Spurs, I think, did the job in the first half and let the game die out, which was perfect. And Spurs, if you look back in history, have hardly kept clean sheets consistently throughout a season. It's the first season where they really are keeping clean sheets. And that's what I would say. I mean, Rose had a bit of a knock, so Ben Davies came in. But Rose should come back quite soon. So if you want to play the risk of getting Davies in because of his value and just because he's at the moment in the Liverpool Spurs first team, you should be a bit wary of that. But Dele Alli is a player to look at for sure. He's involved in defensive play. I still think Kane is a good player to look at. And obviously you have the rest with Eriksen, etc. But who've not been getting points at the moment really. But those are players to look at. Norwich, I don't favour them against Spurs away for some reason. I really don't. I think that is Man United it could have worked, but maybe not against Spurs. But let's see. But I'm going for a Spurs win. Swansea and West Brom. I think Swansea are really struggling at the moment, and I don't know what the situation with Rango is. His value actually it's quite less for a defender in the fantasy game. So he's played to look at, and West Brom looks like they'll probably play Bararino because of the situation with few games quite closely in succession. So in terms of player recommendations, look, West Brom have problems with obviously Rondon gets suspended. Looks like Bararino will be playing, and on the other hand for Swansea they've just been really misfiring. So I mean, if you want to go for it, maybe get a defender here and there. But really, I wouldn't really bother with this because I think it's a real tough call on both sides. So yeah. Newcastle and Everton. I mean, Everton, Lukaku's been performing, so has Barkley. I think Baines is a player to look at as well. I know this might sound weird, but I think Baines he has that potential to really get you some unique points in the game, which end of the day is important. Newcastle, on the other hand, I think they'll be disappointed from the points they dropped against Villa, but second half I think they kind of faded out, and they had chances as well. But I mean, I think there was a great chance by De Jong, that's it. It was a great chance. He should have made it 2-0. But you get punished, end of the day. And similarly with Everton, when you take the lead against Leicester have been on form, you've really got to be better defensively. And I think defensively they were very naive. Although it looks like some good news, I think Jagielka could probably come back. And I think Findes Marie, who gave away the penalty to Okazaki, that's something that really needs to be eradicated from the game. In terms of this game, I'll probably go for a draw, but it wouldn't surprise me if Newcastle win this game because they are picking up points here and there, chipping in, and they're a bit well unbeaten one at the moment, so Newcastle are doing well. And lastly, with Southampton and Arsenal being the late night boxing game, which I will be watching, I think Southampton at the moment are really struggling. And if they continue this run, they will get in a relegation battle. Arsenal, on the other hand, great win against Man City, definitely answer a lot of critics. And player recommendations, Sanchez is not ready, so I mean, obviously you have Giroud, Walcott. Campbell's a player you could look at, but I think him and Chamberlain is too tactical, so I wouldn't go in that area. I would go for Walcott, Giroud, Ramsey, Ozil, and that's about it. Okay, and defensively the players the same ones. Southampton, on the other hand, at the moment there's not someone I really preach. I think player values are going down. I'm not seeing the value of Pellet at the moment, but I think I pretty much grade him at the right time. his form has definitely dipped. So I'm going to go for Arsenal win, but Arsenal have found this place quite difficult in recent years. I don't actually recall them winning there for like a good 2-3 years. So definitely will be a tough game. So that's my analysis of game week 18. If you haven't, do join the Fantasy Football Fan League. And thanks for watching my videos, and good luck for the game week ahead.